Welcome to Live Well Long, where we deliver life enhancing, empowering messages for body, mind, and spirit to those seeking to get the most out of life, who have a zest for learning and know that learning must be an ongoing activity to achieve a vibrant, thriving life. This is your host, Alexandra Van Horn. Stay tuned for another episode of Live Well Long. Hey everyone, it's Alexandra Van Horn with Live Well Long, and today we have a guest, Bobby Aldridge, who's a physiotherapist, and he has spent over 3 decades as an athlete, student, and an educator of physical movement. Now, in the best shape of his life, his mission is to help others move with ease, grace, and power to eliminate pain, reduce the chance of injury, and maximize performance. Now, who doesn't want that, right? We all, especially as I'll say, have more life experience. We also know that our bodies are not the same as they were when we were 20. So this is going to be a great conversation with Bobby Aldridge. So welcome, Bobby. I'm glad to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Look forward to speaking with you.
Awesome. So your company is called BAM Metrics, right? Do I have that right?
Yep, that's
Cool.
it.
Cool. So you want to explain to folks what BAM Metrics is all about?
Yeah, it's basically I started training 30 years ago. I got a degree in kinesiology from the University of San Francisco, and then I started getting all these different degrees. And in the beginning, I had one degree, and I thought I knew everything because I had one thing to know. So I knew it really well, but I didn't know all the other stuff I didn't know. So over all these years, now 30 years in the business, I'm always learning stuff. But what happened to me and why I started the company is about 10, 12 years ago, my clients, when I'd leave with my pro athletes, wouldn't really know what to do while I was gone. They kind of do it, but they wouldn't do it properly. And so started like drawing lines on things. I started giving them, hey, hold this here, do it like this. So that's how I started inventing what I have. And I put numbers on things. So I said, put your hand at 1 and put your other hand at 25. So that was doable. And then the next time they could put it at 23. So without me being there and saying, hey, move it in 2 inches, that's what started to help them. Same thing with my mat. My mat's been great it's basically complementary to everything because when you do a movement, how do you place your feet? For example, everybody out there might use a TRX. Do you know what that is? A TRX. It's one of those straps that hooks to something, and then you do some pulling.
Right.
But where do you stand? So if I stand here today, where do I stand 2 days from now? Do I stand back further or do I stand? You don't know that unless there's something on the floor telling you that. Oh, stand at 40.
Right with you, telling you what to do.
Exactly, because I can see where you are, so I can adjust you and go, hey, why don't you move in 2 inches? Why don't you move in 2 inches?
Right.
When you do mini band walks with bands on your ankles, how wide are your feet? Are they 8 inches? Are they 12 inches? Are they 16 inches? It's
also subjective, right? Unless there's somebody guiding you, right? Or
exactly. And I'll tell a story. Is I had 39 physical therapists in a room, and I said to them, "Do you guys know the staggered stance mini band walk?" And they all said yes. I said, "Could I have 3 therapists out here?" They come on out, and I said, "Go ahead, start doing it." So about 10 seconds into it, I said to the other therapist, "Is there anything you would change about their movement?" And they started saying, "Yeah, put your feet wider, put your feet here, put your feet there." So these are therapists talking to therapists. So I said, "Okay, stop. So what are your patients going to do when they go home? How are they going to know where to place their feet if a therapist is telling a therapist, right?" So I said, "Okay, flip my mats over. You're going to do 1 box, you're going to do 2 boxes, and you're going to do 3 boxes." And the girl I told 3 boxes had the heaviest band on. I did it on purpose. Okay. So they started moving. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What I just want to say is just so to give clarity to our listeners that, okay, so you've created a product or products which has measurements on them so that when people are working or doing whatever their movement exercises are, whatever you call it, their routine, they can be guided. They will know how to gauge themselves when they're home alone doing it without a trainer present. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So the idea behind what you've invented is so that people can get the benefit of working out, or are you calling it working out or movement? What are you calling it? Stretching? Do you have
it's just movement. And it's not, you don't have to be a fitness person at all to do this. Right. And it's done at home. That's why during COVID, it was really good.
Right.
Everybody was home. So it
Sure.
was ideal for people to do at home.
Right, right. So what you've created is a way for getting people to move in a beneficial ways that can help them live well longer, help them live with
Right.
comfort, relieve tension in their bodies, more balance their bodies more, if I'm understanding you correctly, right? Is that like to
Yeah. Better posture,
better posture?
all the things that cause pain and cause dysfunction. So a lot of people out there have back pain or shoulder pain or some
Right.
sort of ache or pain, and it's really simple to fix if
Mhm.
you do things properly.
Right, right, right. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I interrupted you, so I didn't want to, I don't want to take you off your topic, but I just wanted to make sure our listeners are following along, to kind of help
Yeah, no, that makes total
the
sense.
conversation. Okay.
So what I was saying is, then the physical therapist started doing the exercise on my mat, and
Right,
I asked the other physical therapist, would you change anything about their movement now? And they just said to that one girl, hey, you have to move your feet in one box. And I said, ding, ding, ding. You guys are now talking the language. Is it one box? Is it two boxes apart? Is it three boxes apart?
right.
So right away, even if you're a beginner to movement at home, you can figure out, I'm going to start with one box this week. I do one box. Next week, I'm going to go to two boxes. So you see how you can adjust it without me being there.
Right.
And your movement is perfect because you have something to see and measure yourself where you are in
Right.
space. Because,
Placement. Right.
yeah, because you're normally guessing. So that's why I like to tell that story, is it's even the physical therapist telling other physical therapists, hey, change this, change that. That's chaos in the world of fitness and movement.
Right.
And if you want to fix your back pain and make yourself feel better and have better posture, so you're not hunched over as you get older,
Right.
we're all nowadays on computers. We're all on our texting on our phones, so we're getting neck pain all the time, and we're getting back pain. And
Right.
if you use, like, for example, those blocks that I have that you lay on, it opens up your chest and shoulders. So, for example, I lay on those every night before bed,
Right. So
5, 6, 7 minutes.
if you can explain to our listeners, because some of this will be video, some people will be able to access the video, some people will just be listening on an audio podcast. So
Mm,
if
mhm.
you want to describe what you're talking about, you have these boxes that you've invented, right? Are they soft?
Right.
Are they hard? What are they? Are they like a yoga
They're
block?
soft.
They're soft. They're like foam.
They're soft. And this is the size of them. They're 6 by 10 by 12. So
Okay.
a yoga block is about half that and
Right.
smaller.
Right.
And you can't stack up two yoga blocks because it's harder. They're much more solid,
Right.
where these are softer. And there's other exercises we do with those.
Uh-huh.
So we do a bunch of different things. There's my son off to school.
Uh-huh.
So
I,
there's a bunch of different things that we do
right.
with those blocks to help with movement, but they're a little softer than a yoga block. So
Mhm.
when you use them, they're comfortable.
They're
Yeah.
comfortable. Great. Yeah, because
Uh,
yoga blocks can be hard.
so for example, if you're a total beginner and you're going to lay on these blocks, I would start you on the 6-inch side, six
Right.
inches. So they're only 6 inches high. And maybe you do that for 2, 3 weeks, whatever. And
Mhm.
then when you get comfortable, we'll take those up to 10 inches. So it's
Right.
opening up your chest and shoulders
Right.
and relieving that tension in the upper body and neck.
Right. So just to create a picture for our folks that are listening only. So these blocks, they would be placed about a little bit less than shoulder, a little bit more than shoulder width apart, right?
Exactly.
And they would
Yep.
be laying with their arms and their shoulder on the block.
At 90 degrees. You just put your arms up at 90 degrees. So from
So
elbow
mhm.
through the shoulder, through the other shoulder, through the elbow. That's a straight line. So
Right.
90 degrees.
Right.
So,
Got it.
and then from there, we'll lay on those for, depends on 2 to 6 minutes, sometimes longer, depending on
Nice.
if you want to go.
And
Yeah.
that opens everything up in their chest muscles. So they're pulls everything back into alignment pretty much is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. A lot of people with the hunched over
Mhm.
look and the Dowager hump that, ladies will get back here because their head's hanging forward all day long.
Right.
That'll start to go like this and get rid of that. It
Oh,
will literally
right.
unbelievably open that up, and their neck pain will disappear. So your head weighs more the further it gets forward. So
Right.
it's like it goes from weighing 15 pounds to 30 pounds to 45 pounds when
Mm,
it's out at that angle.
right.
So
And
that's Yeah.
I know as a former massage therapist, if I see somebody walking down the street, I can pretty much tell what's going on with their, with their lifestyle. I say, oh, that person's spending way too much time in the recliner. They're walking, from their hips forward, the hunched over like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
or as well, being on the computer too much. I mean, it's everything we do is in front of us. So everything in our chest, the front of our bodies gets contracted. So what you're describing is sounds like a great approach to bringing balance back into the body. And so how long do you tell people to do this on the boxes?
Start with like 2 minutes and see how it feels. And
Mhm.
then you build up to 3 minutes and then 4 minutes. Because when you first start, a lot of people can't even, it's tough for them to be in that position.
Yeah,
Just 6 inches is a lot. They're like, oh, this is so you just do like a few minutes and then come out of it and you test yourself. But there's other stuff you will do, like the wall windmill where you stand up against a wall
right.
and you'll glide the wall. Many men can't even get their hands on the wall. Their fingers, they're just so tight in their upper body and shoulders, they can't
Yeah,
even get that up. But that's a great exercise when you stand up against the wall. Your heels touch your calves, butt, shoulders, head against the wall. If you can't get your head on the wall, don't worry about it. But then everything's touching the wall. So now when you slide the wall to the left and
mhm,
then slide the wall to the right, you're going to
right,
go, wow, it's a lot easier to go right. Why is it so much easier to go right than left? Probably because you're rotated to the right. So it's easier this way. When you go back to the left, it's tighter. But
right,
that's how you pull out that rotation that you have in your body. And
right.
rotation causes dysfunction, which causes compensations, which causes pain.
You're talking
So
to
as
me.
we take out the compensations,
Right.
take out the dysfunction, and then the pain dissipates. It's
I
gone.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, why is BAM better than other programs?
Because it's simple. Anyone can do it.
Mhm.
It's literally, I have videos that you follow, and it's metric based. So you know exactly where you are.
Yeah,
And so it guarantees results. It's basically like me standing there telling you, hey, today you're going to bench press, 85 pounds.
right,
Tomorrow, we're going
right.
to bench press 95 pounds. And
Yeah.
so it makes it simple
Mhm.
and easy and accountable. So you can come back to it, you know, the
Yeah.
next 2 days later and go, oh, I'm going to try to improve and go up one box,
Right.
so you become your own trainer.
Yeah. And I love that it sounds like it's pretty much for anybody. As long as you can get down to the floor, I guess that's the requirement. As long as you can
Well,
get.
actually, you don't even have to get down on the floor. You can start with up exercises. There's things you can do that are just great for your, like it's called a runner stretch,
Okay.
and everyone should do this thing called a runner stretch. It's just so simple. I'll talk about it and show you so you guys can see. So if I was going to use a chair, I might grab a chair to do this. So if you're at your desk or at home,
Right.
you can start with a chair like this. So I'm going to start at the high one. If you want to do this, you put your foot right in front of the chair and you kneel down. So if you don't have my mat, you won't know what to do. So
Right.
you put your knee right behind your foot and
Right.
then you step down like this. So now I know the length of my foot. So for me, it's 34 back here on my back foot. My front foot's at 1. So
Mhm.
what I'm doing is I'm locking out both knees. My
Right.
feet are in a line. So right now they're in a line. When they're in a line, I'm feeling a stretch from my foot all the way up my calf into my hamstring,
Right.
into my glute, and then into my back.
Right.
So if you have a desk in front of you, you just set up like this. You hold this for like 30 seconds and then you switch. So on my mat, I move you back 2 inches. So if I go back 2 inches, it's 36. I started at 34. Now I'm at 36. So I'm
Right.
getting further away from the chair.
So
As you get back,
I just want to interrupt for a second, just so that for our people that are listening without seeing, he's got his hands on the back of a chair. He's standing with his toe of one foot up against the back of the chair, or the
yep.
where the chair meets the ground. And his other foot is, so how would you describe, if they don't have your mat, how would you describe where your back foot is, the distance from?
You start to kneel down right behind
Right,
your front
got it.
foot. So, and if you can't kneel down, then you're going to have to ballpark it. Like if you're older and you can't kneel down like that,
Just put your back
just
leg
just
back somewhere.
put
Yeah,
your back foot a couple feet back.
there
So
you
for me, they're about 18 inches apart, my feet,
right. Got it.
but they're in a line. Okay.
Mm,
So that's what makes that, it kind of pulls out that rotation in the body. So what happens is as you get better, I'm going to go lower on the chair. So I'm going to go down here where I'm lower and getting more of a stretch throughout. But it's also, you see my back, how my back's flat?
Right.
That's what we're working on is our T spine, which is our upper body, and then our down into our hips, low back, hamstring, IT band. So if anybody's out there a runner, anything
Mhm.
they do like walking, hiking, biking, this
Right.
exercise is just a home run because it's opening all of that
Opening. Yeah.
musculature up. And a
Right.
lot of people with back pain, that PSIS joint in the back, it's in the
Right.
back of your back, down low above your butt,
Hmm.
that gets sore on so many people all the
Yeah.
time that
Yeah.
if you can do that stretch, the runner stretch, and you can
Mhm.
look it up online, runner stretch, EGOSCUE, that's Egoscue. They
Okay.
have the runner stretch. That's where I learned it. Those guys are awesome. If you have pain and you're in a facility around that area, go in there. Those guys will help you for sure.
Right. Tony Robbins
Um,
had Egoscue on his recent challenge he had. I participated in online on his challenge, and he had a Egoscue as guy opening up the sessions.
yeah, it's Brian Bradley. Brian, it's
I don't
Brian.
remember the name.
I
Okay.
literally, I literally just texted him this morning because
Uh-huh.
I got something from Tony Robbins, and I said, "Hey, Brian, how's it going? How's your table tennis?" Da 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 da. And then I said, "Hey, can you connect me with Tony Robbins?" And that's what I asked him this morning
I
because
love
I'm like, I should be there with those guys showing this because they teach Egoscue,
Mhm.
but where do you go when you go home? My
Right.
mat helps with that, so it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Awesome.
So
Awesome. Very cool. So, so these stretches are excellent for counteracting the sedentary life that many of us have unfortunately succumbed to, being,
yep.
sequestered in our homes and feeling like that's the safest place to be and all that stuff. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Wow. Yeah. From when my days of massage, the biggest complaints from people were neck and shoulders and low back.
Yep.
I was constantly getting my elbow into their glutes and, and their
Yep.
traps, the trapezius muscles. Yeah. Yeah.
And I cover all of that in
Mm,
the exercises. And
mm.
this is another key to it. You have to mobilize, then you have to, which means mobilize the joint.
Right.
Then you have soft tissue. So foam rolling, small balls and things like that. That's your elbow, but we're doing it naturally.
Right.
And then we use the mini bands to strengthen it.
Hmm.
If you do it in the other order, strengthen, massage after, and mobilize, it won't be the same. It's
Right.
actually tightening you up. We
Right.
have to mobilize first to have that range of motion,
Right.
then strengthen it. So all these people that start out and say, "Hey, I'm going to start losing weight," and they start to move more, right? If their body isn't posturally in a good position and functional, you're
Yeah.
strengthening dysfunction. And that's why when you go a long walk, oh, my knee hurts. Okay, that just says your posture's off. It's nothing wrong with your knee,
Right.
right? It's just that your knee, it may be a little torqued. So when you repetitively walk, it's in the wrong position. And then you say, my knee hurts. Okay.
Right.
Um, and so for the average person out there, I tell them, if you're doing one or two of these exercises a day, one or two, just
Mm.
it's like brushing your teeth, right?
Right.
We don't brush our teeth once a week, right?
Right.
Or twice a week,
Right.
right? We do a little bit every day. And
Yeah.
do we do it in the morning? And then do we do it at night? So I
Mhm.
say to you guys listening, same thing with your body. Wake up in the morning, maybe do a wall windmill. Halfway through the day at 12 o'clock, you're getting ready to go to lunch. Do the runner stretch at your desk.
Mhm.
You come back, you do some work for the day, 3 o'clock, you can take a little break, maybe go to the bathroom, do a wall windmill, open up your back and shoulders again throughout the day,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
all you did was the windmill and the runner stretch for the day, but you go home and you go like, oh, I feel a little bit better today, right?
Right.
And if
Right.
you do that every day, it's like brushing your teeth. All of a sudden, you don't have any cavities, and you're
Right.
like, wow, my back doesn't hurt. Oh, my shoulder doesn't hurt.
Right.
It really is that simple if you're mixing it into a lifestyle, not a I'm going to get fit now or
Right.
I have
Gotta
pain.
go to the
I'm
gym and spend 2 hours at the gym, where in this case,
yes,
work it into their lifestyle. So now in the runner's stretch, now that's a forward bending motion, where you're stretching out the back of the legs, the glutes, the back. The blocks are more about opening up the the front of the body, the losing the term for front. What's the term for the front of the body?
Anterior.
Anterior, there it is. Anterior. So would you say then that the blocks are like the opposite, like the balance of the runner stretch? Because the runner stretch
Yes,
stretches out the back, but the blocks would stretch out the front.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, literally, if you did I basically have like 5 favorites, but windmill, right?
Right.
Runner stretch,
Right.
spread feet wide. So you
Mhm.
put your feet as wide as you can, and you could do a rotation. I can show you that in a second. The bretzel on the ground, which is you use the block on your knee, and I can show you these, and you can explain them to them.
Right.
But those 4 are the best with the blocks. And
Right.
then if you mix in the bands, I have 2 things you do, 2 different routines you do. So you alternate days. So Monday you do routine 1, Tuesday you do routine 2, and they take less than 5 minutes, but
Right.
they will strengthen your hips, glutes, low back, hip flexors, all of the. If you fix the hips, you pretty much fix the body.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what
And
we're
the hips are
using.
an issue, the whole body feels awful.
Yes, and that's really what it is. I have a new pro golfer I've been helping, and this is his favorite move right now. He was like, Bob, this feels amazing. So what I do is I spread my feet wide.
Right.
Okay. So right now I'm at about 52 inches, and then I reach
And
with the
for those
ball.
that are listening, he's describing how far apart his feet are. He's saying 52 inches. So, what's a good stretch for anyone, a good straddle. Okay.
Oh, whatever you can do. I mean, some people start here and you
Right.
won't use the ball. You would just use the chair. So I go like this. If I'm a total like older person that's never moved before, they might feel this and be like, wow, whew, this is tight.
That might
But
be a
what you do,
stretch already. Right.
we do this standing, right? And
Right.
then after 3 of these, then I'm going to go 2 inches wider and then do another one. So you see how we can start from any pace,
Right.
and then we can turn the chair around if you want to feel a little bit more of the lean over, and they could do it like this, right? I don't care, as long as they're moving consistently throughout the year, they're
Right.
going to get better. And you start at these levels.
Right.
But if you're a mobile person and you feel pretty good, this exercise is just awesome because you get your lats, your
So now
sides, your
his
back.
feet out really as far wide as he can, and he's got a huge, what do we call that? Medicine ball? What do we call that?
Stability ball.
Stability ball. There it is.
Stability ball.
Stability ball, and he's rolling it from one foot to the other in front of him. So he's
And I'm just So if I reach to my right foot, if I go to my right foot with the ball, I'm going to reach with my left hand as far as I can while I relax my right hand.
Right.
And then that's stretching all the way down my lats and back. So for a lot of you that get back pain, your QLO, that you can explain that as a massage therapist,
Right.
is so tight, it pulls on your back. When you open this up, this really loosens your back up. So by doing this just like this,
right. So
not only are we getting our inner thighs to open up and our hamstrings, but I'm getting the QLO. And when you come out of that, to walk you're much smoother walking after doing that.
So basically
And
what he's doing, folks that are listening, he had his feet spread wide apart on his mat, and he was alternating, rolling the ball back and forth between the right foot and the left foot with the alternate arm stretching over. So if the ball was in front of his left foot, his right arm was all the way stretched out in front with the stability ball. And then he would rotate to the other side. So getting a full stretch from basically one corner of the body to the other, if you want to think of your shoulders and your feet as opposite corners. Yeah.
And that really causes a lot of back pain. So if you open up that QLO, right, it's going to just all of a sudden you go, God, that feels great. And you could do this at your desk. Like I said, spread your feet wide, put your hand on your desk, and then do a couple rotations, or reach to the side of the desk with the top hand on the desk with your feet wide and feel it that way. Use your desk as the ball to reach from left to right.
I like that.
For a couple minutes, and then leave and go off to lunch.
Right.
But if you mix these things into your lifestyle, a lifestyle change will make change for life.
Yeah.
If you call it like, hey, I'm working out now, and you're putting on the clothes and you're going to the gym for an hour and a half or an hour, you guys get busy with life, and all of a sudden I haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks,
Mhm.
right? It
Right.
goes on all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say what I teach is if you mix it into your lifestyle, you do little bits like this, brushing the teeth. Okay, we're
Right.
brushing our bodies. So to simplify this for you, if you did a windmill today, you
Hmm.
did the foam rolling tomorrow, you
Hmm.
did the bands on Wednesday, that would be better than doing nothing. And
Right.
if you laid on the blocks every night before bed, there
Hmm.
you go. You're
Right.
getting started with simplicity,
Right.
right?
Right.
And what I did on Monday, I could do again on Thursday.
Hmm.
So you just move it forward Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, and that's your routine for now. Try that for 2 weeks and
Right.
see how your body feels. And then we could add add one more in, that
Right.
sort of thing.
So I had a life-changing moment one day when this is several years ago. I walked into the chiropractor's office and they had like an article propped up on the desk. And basically the article was all about throw away your chairs, you know? And so I read
Yes.
the article and it was very eye-opening. I know as a massage therapist, I know about the relationship of everything in the body as far as the muscles and bones, et cetera. But seeing that really struck a chord in me. It's like, yeah, that is so important to maybe not don't have to throw away our chairs, but the danger of chair sitting, because we Americans, most of what we do, if we have if an office job or at the computer now at home, whatever, we're constantly, unless we make a conscious effort to stand up, move around, then if we want to sit down, fine, but like to move through the day. So do you have any recommendations for folks about balancing that? Because, it is part of our lives is we do have chairs and some of it does require sitting. Do you
Yep.
have any like guidelines for how long
Well,
they move
well,
and
no, I've got a great thing for you. An
okay.
awesome thing that I teach in corporate wellness. Okay.
Okay.
So they say sitting is the new smoking. You've
Yeah.
probably heard that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But standing isn't going to make it better.
Mm.
Why? Because if you're dysfunctional and you stand, you're just putting more pressure on your body standing in a bad position
Yeah.
than sitting in a
Yeah.
bad position.
Right.
So it doesn't fix the problem.
Right.
But one thing you can do that years ago, and I should find this article, 10, 15 years ago, like State Magazine, or I forget which magazine had it, they
Mm-hmm.
had women sitting on a ball, okay, which is what I'm doing right now. I do it every day. I sit on a
Okay.
ball.
Right.
I don't use the chair. I show the chair because average people, but this ball moves, okay?
Right.
So when you're sitting on the ball, you're moving and you actually don't know this. So the Shape magazine did this study for like 12 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was. The
Okay.
average woman lost 4 to 6 inches off their waist.
Just by using a stability ball versus
Didn't change their diet, didn't change anything. Sit on a ball, lose inches off your waist. Why? Because you're doing this all day. You can't see it because it seems like you're not moving, but
right.
we are moving,
Right.
constantly
With
moving.
micro movements to keep the body balanced on the ball.
And what I teach is, hey, I'm on a podcast right now. When I get off, just lay down on the ball, open up my chest and shoulders, stay
Right.
here for 1 minute, pop back up, go on to the next thing I'm doing. That's
Right.
1 minute. But I just opened up my chest and shoulders. If
Right.
I do that 6 times during the day, just roll down on the ball and open up, go back to work,
Right.
just think how you're going to be, right? Your hips, your back, your hip flexors, everything's opening up,
Right.
right? So that is the tip of the day. That is so simple to change in your lifestyles. Get off your chair, get a
Right.
stability ball. Now make sure the stability ball is tall enough that your hips are above your knee. If your
Okay.
hips are below your knee when you sit on it, you're going to shorten your hip flexors and you're going to feel tight. So
Right.
if you get the ball where it's taller, so you want one that's tall enough that when you sit on it, your hips are just above your knee. Okay.
So got it. That's good. Good pointer. Good pointer. Excellent. I had came across a post not too long ago about designing your home to support your good decisions.
Yeah.
Not the home itself, but the stuff you have in it, like maybe don't have so many chairs and couches and a recliner and everything, but have it so that you can sit on the floor and be comfortable doing something,
You're
like
exactly right. I
fill
have
out a
space.
stability
I
ball.
have space and carpet, and I've got a funny story to tell you is I have tools in every room that I
Mm-hmm.
have, right? That where I sit to watch TV. I have my tools. So upstairs, downstairs, I have my tools. Now my wife likes the house clean.
So your tools would be like one of your exercise or movement things is what you're talking about.
Right. Like I have my mat, my blocks, my bands, my foam roller, my strap, my tower. I have those things all in certain sections of the house, right? My
Right.
wife, it used to drive her nuts. You got to put that away. You got to put that away. I said, hon, if I don't see it, I won't use it. I'll come in and sit on the couch. I'm a total normal guy too. I do fitness all day. The last thing I want to think about it when I get home is fitness.
Right.
So
Got to make it easy to do the fitness. Yeah.
yeah, so if I see it and I'm sitting on the couch, I go, yeah, I probably should go do the blocks right now. So I'll go do something on the blocks.
That's great.
Then the next day, if I see the blocks, I'm not going to use the blocks. I'm going to use maybe the foam roller. And then the next day, I've used the blocks, the foam roller, and now I'm going to use the bands. So I'll pick one or two things while I'm watching TV, and I'll do something different. So it just reminds me by having it on the floor, hey, I should do that before bed. I really should. And I'm tired at night. I don't really want to do it.
Right.
So the slant board I have in my room, I'll stand on that for 5 to 10 minutes. That's a thing you put up against the wall that gets your feet to like, feels like it's stretching your calves. But what it does is
your toes are
up in the air. Yeah. And my back's against the wall. So it really helps with perfect posture. You're going to notice, wow, my right hip's kind of off the wall. Oh, my right shoulder wants to pull off the wall. So all you're doing is locking your knees out and standing there for 5, 10 minutes. And you just have that lay down about fascia. Well, when I stand there for 3 minutes, that's pulling the fascia out from the feet to the calves, to the hamstrings, to the glutes, up the back, up to the neck. So if I stand there for like 6, 10 minutes, I'll get off there and go, God, my neck feels looser. Well, so I have that in my room.
Yeah.
That's, and the slant board's kind of behind me right there. It's this thing. This is what it looks like. I'll show you guys. And then you can explain it to them. But it's just a slant board that you can change the height depending on how flexible you are.
So it's basically, if you look at it from the side, folks, it's shaped like a triangle. And you can have one side, which is a more relaxed slope of the triangle, and there's a more extreme slope. Yeah.
I can put it down to make it flat, and then I can raise it up. I can raise it up one link at a time. And it's called a slant board. You can look this up, get it, put it on your floor, and start at the bottom. If you don't feel a stretch, go up one. If you don't feel a stretch, go up one till you feel it. Okay. And then what you do is you consistently do this every day. Just hop on there and stand there. So again, you're not becoming a fitness person. It's just kind of a lifestyle. Like before you go for your walk, just stand on the board for 3 minutes.
Right. You're being conscious about your body, what your body needs. One of the things I did not too long ago is, I have a guest room, but I really don't get guests that much. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn this room into, I'll call it my playroom instead of a workout room. Figure make it sound more fun, but I have all the things in there like you're describing, so that it's part of my mindset of this is something that's a significant part of my life, is staying in movement. So for our listeners to be open-minded about, maybe I should designate certain areas of my home or even a part of every room to fitness or movement, and have things in there that remind me not to just sit on the recliner and watch TV, that I can.
And this is what I do at Corporate Wellness to make it simple for people is I go look around, I see a hallway with a big wall. So I might drop 2 mats in the hallway against the wall. So if you're walking on the way to the bathroom, right? I have you go to the bathroom, come back, do 1 set of windmills of 20, and then go sit back down at your desk.
Nice.
Right? In everybody's room, I'll have a set of blocks so they can do one of the exercises that makes them feel better. And this is another exercise that's I'll show you a couple that are just really, really good with the blocks. Is this one can help serious back pain. If you have rotation and you can do this, can you see me on the ground?
I can see you, yeah.
You put your knee on the block and say you're not very flexible. I could put this all the way up to 12 inches, put my knee on it, and then I'm going to open up my arm. Okay. If I can't grab my foot, a lot of people can't grab their foot and do it this way. This is the pretzel. So I'm grabbing.
Let me just update the folks that are just listening. So he's laying on the floor with his right knee resting on the block in front of him. His bottom leg is on the floor and he's grabbing it with his right arm, his
Yep.
right hand,
Yep.
and he's holding,
And
his left hand is on his right knee.
and if you can't grab your left leg on the bottom part, just straighten it out and you can do arm circles just like this.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to open up your chest and shoulder and rhomboids and all of that to loosen you up. Now, when you finish both sides of that, I do usually 6 breaths if I'm holding the stretch.
Right.
If I'm doing the arm circles, I do 6 circles to the right, 6 circles to the left, 6 circles to the right. Okay, because I'm opening up the joint, and then I switch sides. But the best one,
shoulder, you're talking about your shoulder. You're opening up your shoulder.
yeah, and your back. That's going to open up your low back too. So when you come out of that, but once you do both sides, you're a little bit rotated. So put the block between your knees at 10 inches in between the knees. Your feet are a little wider than the block. My hands are on the ground, open to the sky. And then I'm going to take a deep breath in and breathe out as I squeeze the block. So big breath in through my nose, exhale out through my mouth and squeeze the block. Inhale, exhale through the mouth and squeeze the block. So exhale fully, get all the air out. So what that's doing
is that doing for our body, for our listeners?
That, yeah, it neutralizes your pelvis and it gets your thoracic spine and T-spine to and low back to flatten into the floor without me telling you to flatten it into the floor. By fully exhaling, you're getting to neutral. Okay. So we used to tell you, push your back here, push your back there, do this, put it in this position. All I have to tell you to get to neutral, exhale fully. Most people can't even exhale fully. They don't know how to. They don't have the musculature in their core to exhale fully and really get all the air out of there. But that alone,
as they do this, they will, as they do what you're suggesting a little bit every day, they will
it'll get better.
Get to that. Yeah.
Yep. And your back pain will dissipate because you're getting more flat with your back. Right. So people with a big arch in their low back, that's what can cause, oh, my back hurts right there. Yeah. It's that big curve that they have in there that we want to take out. Okay. And by exhaling fully on your back with the block between your knees, just 6 breaths. That's all you need. It's 6 to 12 breaths, just 6 to 12. And you'll go, wow, that feels better. Man, my back feels looser. So that's a golden nugget.
And I notice here in the information you gave me, you have some videos. You have a free gift, some videos that they can get to on your website that explains a lot of what we're describing today.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Right, cool. So I will put that in the show notes because so that people can, but it's basically it's exclusive videos that are on his website, BAM Metrics. But I'll give you the exact content in the show notes so that you can see how it's, how the punctuation is, because it's got some hyphenations in there. So, and that's like $1,000 worth of training videos for free, which is great. And if they do happen to buy some products, you offering them free shipping. And I was looking at, you've got some nice products in there. So that's awesome. And those are the ones that you were describing, the blocks and the mat. And
yeah, that's the package I put together a couple years ago is the mat, the blocks and the bands. If you guys are listening, start with those. They really are the best. And then if you like what you're getting out of that, then you can look into the other stuff. But I really want you guys to get a result and learn how to do this. And it's simple enough that the videos are going to show you. It's really that simple. And then, and then move on from there. But it's complementary to whatever you're doing at home. It's just, like I said, it's like brushing your teeth before you're going to, after you eat, that's your workout. You went and worked out. Now brush your teeth. Make sure your body's in that good position. So the next day you can go back and work out and not build on dysfunction. That's really the key.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So you have a promo code for free shipping, BAM free ship, all uppercase, BAM free ship is one word, uppercase. So if you do go to grab some products, be sure to use the promo code for free shipping, but all this is going to be in the show notes with the podcast. So if you're driving or can't write it down, you'll find it in the show notes with the podcast. So this is great. So for our listeners that are sitting in maybe sitting home or driving their car and hearing this, and they're thinking, yeah, but I'm I'm too far gone, my body's not in shape, or I'm too old, what would you tell them?
Well, it's going to get better than it is now. So I tell you to get started as soon
Get
as
started.
possible because it
Right.
only gets worse as you get older.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of people with aches and pains, and within 2 or 3 weeks, they're already feeling better. Like, wow, I didn't know this would help me so much. And I had an 81-year-old guy that I was working with for like 4 weeks, and he
Uh,
really didn't notice a difference, right? He was like, I don't really notice a difference. And then he called me one day and said, Bob, I backed out of my driveway and I looked backwards and I could see.
I could
And it
turn
was
my
like, I
head.
turned my head, and that was like his eye-opening moment. So
That's
you
great.
need to know you're gonna have an eye-opening moment, but you just have to get started. And it's I really am trying to teach this to actually the medical community because there's too many people in pain in the hospitals that are going to physical therapy, that
Right.
they're in there and then they're back. They're in there and then they're back. And trust me, I've broken my back in a car accident. I've had every injury throughout the body from rotator cuff to knees. I've had 2 hip replacements just recently this year, 2 hip replacements
Wow.
because of all the years of heavy lifting, box jumping, all the stuff. We didn't know any of this mobility stuff. We just strengthened. And it built to a point where I needed hip replacements, right?
Yeah.
It's bone
Yeah.
on bone in there. So
Yeah.
what I'm telling you guys, I feel better than I've ever felt right now,
Hmm.
better than when I was 20. And
Right.
and the thing that really hit me was maybe 3 years ago with my son.
Right.
I had a baseball team that we were training,
Right.
and they want to do a bench press contest with the bar. And I said, sure, go ahead, guys. So the little kids did it and they did 18. Then the high school kids did it and they did 38. And
Mm-hmm.
then the college kids did it and they did 78. And they said, Bob, what can you do? And I said, oh my God, I used to do 104 when I got bench 315. Now I bench maybe 250, right? So I'm not as strong. And I'm thinking, wow, 78 is kind of going to be tough, right? I had no idea. So I get on there and I'm like, I got to get 79, got to get 79. I get going 7,500, 150, 200. I did
Wow.
200.
Wow.
So understand this. I'm not as strong, but I'm very functional. So my shoulders weren't rounded forward like the bodybuilder. My shoulders are functional and back. So this was effortless. There was no tension while I was doing it. And I
Right.
said, when I left there that day, I said, oh my God, my routine's working amazing. So
That's good.
I mean,
You
I knew
surprised
it worked.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I surprised myself how much it was helping me.
That's
That
great.
wow, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to spread the word so much this year. Is I really want to get it out there. I want to make a difference. And if anybody has any contacts in the medical world that could really make a difference there, I need someone with power to go, everybody should be doing this. It
Right.
is just a no-brainer. You do it at home. It's complementary to whatever you're doing. It couldn't be any simpler, and you're going to feel better. Not even a question.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be great. I know they have their whole scope of practice rules, or all of the licensed entities, have their scope of practice, but any kind of connection that you can have with them to introduce this into their world so that they can at least refer people to you, or, bring you in and have
it's
you trainings at their events, whatever events that
well, all the physical therapists,
Mhm.
any physical therapist should be using the mat in the clinic. It's just a no-brainer. Where do you stand when you do the mini bands? Where do you stand when you do the rows? How far away are you from the wall when you
Right.
do the rows? You guys don't know that. So how are they going to do it at home to practice it?
Right.
So
Right.
any physical therapy clinic, I mean, should have the mats in there and using them and then giving them to their patients as they leave.
Right.
Take these home. Start using these at home.
Yeah.
So anyway, anyone can help me out there, that would be great.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Well, great. So I will put everything in the show notes. This is Bobby Aldridge from BAM Metrics, and this will be uh, published very soon. And I'm excited to everything you shared. I'm gonna take a look at all of those videos and see what I can incorporate and bring into my playroom here, so that I have all the things to keep my body in balance. Because I do know it doesn't take much sedentary living to affect the body in a negative way. And as you said, you'll see results right away pretty soon when you start doing what you're suggesting. So
yeah, you're right on with the
awesome.
build that little room out, have the tools so you see them, and then
Yes.
just start using 1 or 2 a day. Change
Yep.
it up.
Yep.
You know, keep it
Awesome.
simple.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Bobby. And we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you for listening. This is Alexandra with Live Well Long. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our important episodes. We want to be sure that you get everything you can to do your best to live well long. Feel free to reach out to me at alex@avhcoaching.com. And remember to take good care of yourself so that you live well long. Talk with you soon. Bye.
Hey, psst, it's Alexandra. One more thing. Would you please share this on Facebook, Twitter, send an email to your friends? Just hit the share link and pick a way to share it. I would love it. Thank you so much. Bye.